I fell for you. I can't recognize myself. I watch your stories, I like it. We could be close before the night ends. So into you. My heart is racing, I can't help myself. You never look my way, I'm stuck in this headspace. I've been daydreaming, dreaming, gave up on sleeping, feeling like I'm high on fever. You know I'm building castles in the sky. Always dreaming, dreaming, still out of reach, but in my mind I see us clearly, you and I, building castles in the sky. Holding on, maybe I should let you go. Something about you feel like home, stuck in my head like a favorite song. Can't fight it, I just sing along, don't care what they say. Our love is different, I like it. Watching from a distance, I'm trying to keep my cool. My heart is racing, I can't help myself. I've been daydreaming, dreaming, gave up on sleeping, feeling like I'm high on fever. You know I'm building castles in the sky. Always dreaming, dreaming, still out of reach, but in my mind I see us clearly, you and I, building castles in the sky. Always dreaming, dreaming, gave up on sleeping, feeling like I'm high on fever. You know I'm building castles in the sky.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Welcome in. Welcome in. Welcome to Bayou Sugar Garden. I am Bayou Sugar, and welcome to my channel. I am currently live on YouTube and Facebook. So, hello to you guys who are there on YouTube and Facebook. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you are here live with me, please hit that like button. Don't forget to also share me out just in case on either platform someone hasn't received the notification that I am live and they want to be notified. Sometimes these platforms aren't really good with notifying you when someone else is live. So it helps if you share it out. That way other people will know that someone is live just in case it's some information that they want to chime in on while it's actually happening instead of catching the replay. But nothing wrong with catching the replay. For those of you who are catching the replay, I appreciate you. Please leave me a comment to let me know that you are here, and I definitely respond to my comments. Um, and if you are happy with what you like and you enjoy this channel, don't forget to subscribe to it and hit that notification bell so that you will be notified when I release new content. Um, so today I just did a pop up as usual. You guys know I just do pop ups. I don't have scheduled lives. I do pop ups. And so from the title, you guys can see it says let's chat about technology and co-ops. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. And I just want to encourage you guys, this is not a one-way conversation. Please comment whether you're on the Facebook side or the YouTube side. Your comments will come up and we can address them and talk about them. This is definitely an open-ended conversation because it's going to require you to give me your feedback to let me know what's been going on your end, and I'll let you know what's going on my end, right? Because it's always better to have, you know, what's the saying? Two heads are better than one. So I'm gonna share with you my thoughts and experiences, and I want you to share with me your thoughts and experiences, and together we can, you know, come up with maybe an idea or a way that works better for us to carry on our way in this life that we are living in. So let me just say hello to you guys in the bushes. I appreciate each and every one of you. One time for the bush people. And for those of you all who are catching the replay, I appreciate you. One time. And I do have one person here live in the chat that has commented. What's up, Mr. Cowboy? Tori's Brain. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. If you guys here on YouTube or Facebook are not familiar with Tori's Brain, please check him out on YouTube. He does brain games on Friday nights. Check his channel out. He plays music and he dance, and he can dance too. Y'all check out Tori's Brain on YouTube. So, just want to remind you guys, any of you who are joining us on the YouTube side, always remember that you can type sugar, spelled SHUGA, in the chat. Nightbot will drop your link, and that way, those who are not connected with you can connect with you and check you out. So, we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to have a little discussion first, and then we'll watch a video that I shared bits and pieces of it with people who are part of my membership here on YouTube in the Sugar Mama level membership. Those of you who are part of the co-op and those of you who have been privy to attend the meetings um, as non-members just to see what we got going on. But we'll look at that video and we'll talk about that. But the first thing I want to talk about is technology. I have been watching a couple of videos over the past few days of people um, telling their experiences, excuse me, y'all, telling their experiences that they've been having with technology. I would say technology glitches or malfunctions or what have you, whatever you want to call it. Recently, today, what inspired me to go ahead and tell my story was I watched a video from Homestead Heart where Mrs. H dropped a video. Hey, Tim, welcome in. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. One time for the Educated Natural. If you guys aren't familiar with her on the YouTube or Facebook side, you definitely want to check out the Educated Natural. Her regular channel, just without being part of the membership, has good information, but being a member of her channel has even more good information as far as um, gardening and starting your small businesses, whichever entity you may choose. She has all of the information and how to get trademarks. You guys definitely want to connect with her and get her on your side. And look, while I'm talking about 10 over the weekend, 10, you got a twin. You got a twin. And I hadn't talked to her in years. And I just talked to her, I want to say it was a couple of days ago. May have been over the weekend, a couple of days ago. Y'all look just alike. And you remind me so much of her. I would love to get you guys together and just, I don't know, have a conversation because both of you guys, spiritual wise, and education wise, both of y'all are powerhouses. So I was happy to connect back with her. Now I got two. two of y'all in my life. I'm happy for that. So thank you for being here. Netta's Nest, welcome in. Netta, one time for Netta's Nest. Netta has some great gardening videos, you guys, especially for you guys who are on the Facebook side and you want something to watch on YouTube. Check out Netta. She has some great gardening videos. You can learn so much from her as well. There's a lot of great gardeners on YouTube that are sharing their journeys with you guys. And Netta has another channel where it's Netta can budget. She teaches you how to budget, and Netta can cook. So you want to check out Netta's Nest over here on YouTube. What's up, Mike's Chaotic Gardening? Welcome in. Thank you for being here. Y'all, Mike is another one you want to connect with. He does hydroponics and he does outdoor gardening. Expert, to me, he's an expert on the hydroponic gardening. You gotta check him out if you're not connected with Mike. And he's just, I call him the squirrel whisperer. If you ever see anybody got squirrels coming up to their door, leaving them presents, that's that's Mike right here. You would be surprised. Go and watch it, and it's funny and hilarious. And he loves peppers, any kind of peppers. That's your guy, Mike. Hey, Miss Linda, one time for the New Orleans Gardening. That's my boot mama right there, y'all. Definitely got to check her out. If you are interested in gardening and you're a beginner gardener, Miss Linda got you. Got videos from A to Z to tell you from the beginning to the ending, okay, on gardening, everything in between. She is definitely one you need to go watch how to make that molasses syrup from sugar cane. She got the recipe up on her channel. So if you're growing sugar cane and you want to learn how to boil that stuff down, harvest it, chop it up, Miss Linda got you. She got cooking videos too for those of you be wondering how to cook, how people cook from New Orleans. You better check her out. I saw that smothered shrimp and potato. She had me drooling at the mouth. And she cooked them sweet potato leaves too. Y'all didn't know y'all could cook sweet potato leaves and eat them, huh? Miss Linda got a video on it. You better go and watch it. Baby, say bon, Miss Linda, say bon. Hey, Miss Shirley, Mama Shirley, welcome in. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. Mama Shirley is another one of our elders here in our YouTube community that can teach you from A to Z and everything in between on gardening. She just recently put up her green stalks. So those of you who are trying to do green stalks because the weather is changing and you may not want to do in-ground gardening because it's going to be cold and all that, check out Miss Shirley. She got videos to teach you how. She walking you through it. She going through it right now. And she got videos recently on up potting your plants and how to do it. Check them out, y'all. These are diamonds in our community that can help you do this gardening thing right. Miss Linda say, I'm taking a break from gardening and eating. I know she eating something good too. I know it. I know it. So guys, so back to what I was saying about me being inspired to do this video because I was watching um, Mrs. H from Homestead Heart, and she posted a video about problems that she was having with streaming services. And not only her, but over the past few weeks, I've heard and seen different people post videos about problems that they've been having with technology and things. And if you've been tuned into my channel, I had a couple of issues with a stream a couple of weeks ago, maybe about 2 weeks ago, when I was doing a live stream um, doing my Sugar Shack, and it just was glitches during the live stream. But I can't chalk that one up to being something weird happening. It could have been a lot of things with that one. But What I want to discuss is my experience with using um, GPS maps. I don't want to say specifically which GPS map that I was using to get around town in, but this is a GPS map that I have been using for over 10 years. And I recently relocated from Baton Rouge, Louisiana to Arizona. And all the time that I've been in Louisiana, never had any glitches with this GPS map. Even I lived in Maryland for a while and I used the same map. Never had any problems. This was years ago, before all of the chaos in the world turned upside down. Never had any problems. Even I would say last year, you guys know I travel with my son with basketball with AAU. We travel all across the country and from one side, from one coast to the other coast, from north to south, using that same GPS app, never had any problems. As a matter of fact, when I was using my app, um, other people, we would switch drivers. Sometimes I would drive, take turns driving with, well, we would caravan. I guess that's what you call it. And I would drive a couple hours, somebody else would drive a couple hours. And so what would happen on those trips was they would use one app and their GPS would be horrible. It wouldn't alert them about the police on the roads or anything. So they would prefer to use my phone because my phone was the best app used and it shows shortcuts and you could avoid the tolls and different things. So this app has some weight with me. It's been keep getting me through. It's been consistent. Never had any problems compared to other apps. It has been good. For the past, I've been here maybe a month and a half. What's going on, P. Smith? P. Wilson? Why am I going to call you P. Smith? Welcome in. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. And Miss Shirley said, thank you. You welcome. New Orleans Garden said, thank you. Y'all are so welcome. It's the least I can do. Ooh, Miss Linda say, I'm making a big salad today. Yep, today is meatless Monday. Meatless Monday. I do one meal with no meat. Okay, I can't do the whole day because my blood sugar would go whoop. And then I'll be in the hospital calling y'all on the live showing y'all my IV and stuff. But I do one meal, so today my meal is gonna be dinner with no meat. So um but yeah, this app had never gave me any problems, right? So I've been here a month and a half and within that time I had to use that app to drive so many miles from my home to my job. And I recently started using the app to drive part time to do a shopping service where I go pick up groceries for people who don't want to shop. I go pick them up and drop them off at their house, or I go shop for them and bring it to their house. And I use that. That is important because I'm in a new area. I don't know where I am, but I need that to get around. So what I have experienced in that app, never have I experienced it before, but a couple of times the app would just go blank, go the whole screen would go black on me. And I was thinking that maybe okay, maybe I need to turn my phone off, turn it back on, but I could scroll up and you know how when you scroll up on your phone, that lets you see what other apps you got in the background or put that particular app that you're using in the background and you can use something else. So I would scroll up to kind of put that app in the background and check other apps to see if they will work. They other apps were working, my phone was working. It's just that GPS app, it would go blank. So I would literally have to close it out and open it back up several times in order for it to restart. couple of times while I was driving, also using this particular app, it would change my route. You know, when you go into certain apps, you put in your address where you want to go. It gives you different options of which path or which route you want to take. You click on the route that you want to take, and that's the route that it stays on. At least that has been my experience. That's the route that it stays on the whole time that you're driving. It doesn't automatically switch routes unless you give it permission. Now, with my experience, it will tell you, hey, this is a faster route, this is a quicker route, or there's traffic, or there's been an accident, here's a detour. It'll let you know that, and then you can decide, yes, I want to change, no, I want to stay on this route. Well, these last few weeks, my app would change without alerting me, without giving me any notice. It just would change. And the only way that I knew that something had changed was I would notice when I was driving, it would tell me to go one direction, and I knew that that's not the way that I usually go. So that's the only way I was able to notice that. Also, what happened on this app besides the blankness is I've noticed when I go to search what's nearby me, like say for instance if I'm at home and I want to see what restaurants are by me or what fast food places are by me, it usually tells me the ones that are close and the ones that are far away. Well, this app, for whatever reason, hasn't been updated, and it's supposed to be the most up to date app out there. Some people may refer to it as the Bible because they like to believe everything that it says about everything without mentioning no names. I'm pretty sure y'all know what I'm talking about. But it hasn't been up to date with its knowledge. It's like it's behind. I'm in an area that has it's fairly new, and we have a couple of new restaurants that are here. But I say new because it maybe has been about 2 or 3 years, but they still should be alerted on the map if I'm looking for what's close, and they're not there. I've also noticed when I'm riding on the road and using that map, if there's construction, there's been several times where a road has been closed and the app did not show that the road is closed. It still had it showing that it was open, and I'm sitting right in front of the barricade saying road closed, and I see the construction workers and the trucks and everything right in front of me, but the app has not registered it yet. Several times. So I'm just wanted to alert you guys on my experience with that, because I just think it's kind of weird considering that we are in a technology age and seems like technology is failing. And I don't know if you guys are experiencing the same thing I'm experiencing, but you are experiencing technology issues that we wouldn't normally experience because supposedly we have progressed in technology here in the US or the world period. And so I just wanted to share that with you guys and see what other issues, if you guys have been experiencing anything, and also to encourage you to get back to learning how to navigate this world without these technology things. Get you some maps. Hold on one second. Okay, sorry about that. But get you some maps, have them in your car just in case that GPS malfunctions. Check your GPS even in the middle of your driving to make sure it hasn't switched on you in the middle of driving, because you don't want to be out traveling in the middle of nowhere, especially if you're traveling at night and trying to rely on a computer system to navigate you safely to where you need to be. Have that backup. We've been talking about this in our preference community. Have that backup with those maps. Stop at them gas stations while it's still free and pick up them world maps and highway maps and everything and have it. Have it. Miss Linda say, ha ha, old school still work. That's right. Read the street signs. These apps will have you lost, totally lost. They will have you so lost. And make sure that you are at least know your cardinal directions, north, south, east, west, northwest, north, south. Know all of that. Pay attention to the sun to know where you'll be able to know where you are in as far as landmarks and everything in your area. So guys, don't throw that information away, because with the things that we're going through now, it has made us so reliant on technology to where half of us have forgot, probably even over half of us have forgotten how to live without those things. Even without phone calls, if you're not able to check on your loved ones by picking up a phone and call them, do you still know how to write a letter and mail it? Do you know that they're still stamped at the post office? Or how else could you communicate with them if you can't get through a phone or you can't mail a letter? What are your other backups for if technology fails? So I wanted to share that with you guys and encourage you guys to, you know, don't throw away these old school ways. It's good to use the convenience right now, but don't throw away your old school ways. That's including with your gardening. Because if you haven't heard, there's tons and tons and tons of recalls on foods that you eat every day. And food is a necessity to live. So if you're relying on somebody to give you that food and the food that they're giving you is literally killing you, you need to learn how to do it yourself. Don't leave that much power to somebody else. Miss Shirley says, my sister GPS has a British accent and mispronounced the street names hilarious, but had to use a different app. Yes, they are different. And these things are many of these things are not made here in the US. And so that's where we have to be careful because hey, Miss Devora, welcome in. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Homesteader Rachel, welcome in. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. And I'm going to say this, and I hope I don't offend anyone because I'm not against any country, any race, anything. I love all people of all races, colors, creeds, or whatever. But I do know that the country that I live in has not done right by a lot of other places. And we rely on those places to provide us things that we need to live life. And so, with that in mind, you got to be cautious. You got to be cautious. That's like back in the day when these kings and queens had their kingdoms, but they had the peasants and stuff coming in, feeding them food or whatever. People who you weren't so nice to coming in, preparing your meals or bathing you or washing your clothes, or you're putting people that are that you are not treating well, you're putting them in charge of things that you need to live. And so you have to be cautious about that, because what if one day they get upset with you and they tired of your BS and they decide, okay, I'm cooking this food for you. Let me just put something in here to help you take you out or help you not sleep, have a real bad episode of the run. Oh, let me put some itching powder in your clothes. Let you see how I feel to wear dirty clothes. You get what I'm going, what I'm saying, y'all. We just have to be very careful and be wise because I mean we got a lot of enemies. Even though us individually may have not harmed anyone, but because of where we are a part of the whole. And so when they're trying to target, they're just targeting the whole. They're not targeting individuals. And so, yeah, we got to be careful and be mindful and smart. So that's why I say grow your own. Don't throw away those old ways. What's going on, Grammy's Journal? Welcome in. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Did I speak to you, Devora? Welcome in, Devora. Again, if I didn't speak to you, welcome in. I appreciate you. So that's what I wanted to share as far as the technology is concerned. I wanted to make sure that you guys are aware of that. Miss Shirley says, treat people like you want to be treated. Exactly. Definitely. That has always been my pet peeve. I always got to treat people the way I want them to be treated. And hopefully they will do that in return. So we're going to move on to the next subject that I had, which is talking about co-ops. And if you guys are aware, and those who of you who are not aware, I have started a farm co-op here through my YouTube channel. Um, we're in the process of getting all of our paperwork and everything together. And I shared with them this video about a farmer that was interviewed. He's from Mississippi, but he's part of a co-op that is connected through different towns throughout the United States. And we're gonna watch that video. Hey, Miss Sonia, welcome in. Thank you for being here. We're gonna watch that video one time for Miss Sonia. We're gonna watch that video and then we can just conversate back and forth. I'll pause it periodically and an- answer any questions or read any comments that we have about it or make my own comments about it. But I wanted to share it with you guys because I want our minds to always continue to think about um, self sustainability and how we can do that and how we can do that together. I really think that by us coming together, some of us, you know, it's hard for us to get things done as individuals. Not saying that we can't, but we can accomplish a lot if we learn how to work together. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to watch this video. Some of you may have um, seen this already, but if you haven't, hopefully it'll be some good information for you and help you to think about some things. Whether you decide to be a part of my co-op or be a part or start your own co-op or whatever it is, just think. I just want us to think big. Think big, you know. Let's see. I think I just, give me one second. Okay. Rearranging my screen so that you guys can see. And I just want y'all to realize that these things that I've been going over, let you guys know that this is not nothing new. You know the saying that says there's nothing new under the sun. These things aren't new, but it's just sometimes that we information falls through the crack, and so we need to go back and pick these things up, just like we're doing with the herbs. I haven't shut down my medicinal herbs studies, but I paused it for a while. We're going to get back to it because we got to pick up that information. But I want to share this with you guys as well. So this particular farmer is Mr. Ben Burkett. Excuse me, Mr. Ben Burkett. He is from Mississippi. And let's see. They interviewed him, um, Dillard University, that's in New Orleans, Louisiana. Trying to make my screen bigger. I think I'm gonna have to press play in order for it to make it big.
Like you from Greenville, Mississippi, you got the Greenville Club.
Let me rewind it. So I want y'all to see it from the beginning. Here we go.
Development grant from the Nixon administration.
Over my head, I hear music in the air. Over my head, I hear music in the air.
Hold on one second. Let me make sure you guys can hear me. Put a one in the chat. Uh, okay, Miss Shirley said the sound is okay. Grammys Journal said, what was the name of the channel? Oh, the channel for the video that I am putting up. The name of this channel is Dillard University Ray Charles program. See if I can go to the actual channel. This is the actual channel. Okay, there you go. That's the name of the channel that the video is coming from that we're going to watch. You're welcome, Grammys Journal. All right, let's go back.
Side and all.
It always do that. All right, here we go, y'all.
In the air, over my head, I hear music in the air. Over my
It's a pleasure to be here. This is Indian Spring Farmers Association, which is a cooperative that was started in, well, they tried to start in 1968 with a economic development grant from the Nixon administration. They got a $250 grant. They buy one piece of equipment, to spray pea for bugs, but it didn't work. So it was reorganized in 1976. And you had 8 farmers that started this cooperative. In the spring, it's actually a little community, one community over from here. So it's named after that community. And those 8 farmers started it because they were selling peas and watermelons and all this to brokers. Well, somehow or another, they found out they were paying the black farmer one price and the white farmer one price. So they didn't want to put up with that. So they organized, they bought a 10-wheeler truck, a gas burner, started hauling their own produce to Chicago. So that's how it originally started. But believe it or not, out of the 8, 2 of them was white. So this cooperative, so its inception, has always been white and black. At present time, we got 5 white members and 1 on the board. So it's always, you talk about race, but that was necessary because small farmers, they all were small farmers. And by all being they didn't have no other choice but to work together, where you white or black.
When you're small, being poor don't really make a difference.
Don't make no difference.
Whether you black or white.
I know that's
So that's how it evolved, and it continued to grow. This is the third facility this co-op has had.
The third facility.
That had been built, right? So we moved in here in 1997. We got some grant money, and we put up some money, about close to $300,000 to build this facility. So in over 40 years now, well, the co-op went from 76 to 81 as an unincorporated, just working
Welcome
together.
in.
No legal structure, no bylaws and charter and all that stuff.
Who brought the legal structure to this equation?
We was at a meeting sometime. I must have been 21, 22 years old. I was more than that. I graduated from Alcorn State University. So we was at a meeting somewhere, and we told them we was a co-op, and they asked for all this charter and bylaw. We said, we don't have none of that. So the Federation of Southern Cooperatives signed Ms. Melba Smith to work with us to get our charter.
Okay, I want to pause it right there because welcome in. Let me say welcome in to Country Hustle 101. Welcome in. Thank you for being here. She is one of the members of the co-op that we have here in Bayou Sugar's Garden. I appreciate you. He said he watched the video 100 times, and it is definitely some informative and inspirational information in here. But I wanted to pause it because they ended up forming a co-op with just them, and they ended up going to a conference. And in that conference, they were able to connect with someone of the Federation of Southern Cooperatives. That's like a big part of the cooperatives, and then you have branches up under them. So their cooperative would have fell up under the branch for the Federation of Southern Co-ops. And because they didn't have their paperwork in place, the Federation of Southern Co-ops helped them to get their paperwork and become legal and everything that they needed to do. They sent them what you would call a liaison, or assigned them a representative to help them and guide them through their process, the application, making your rules, making your bylaws and things like that. So just wanted to let you guys know that there is someone out there, there's an organization that's already put together that can help you get these things in place. And I thank God that we have a liaison that has been helping us, walking us through ours to make sure that we're getting ours in place. So if you guys are thinking about starting one, whether it's a crafting co-op or whether it's a music co-op or whether it's a nursing co-op or a cooperative, whatever business that you're trying to do, you want to connect with someone who has that information, that has been through this, so they can walk you through it. Like I mentioned, the Educated Natural, she has been through the trademarking process. She offers her services to walk you through that. So if you have any questions that along the way, these people who have experienced it can help you, and it makes it a whole lot easier. So I just wanted to put my little 2 cents in about that. Right. Dolores said, this brings Queen Sugar to mind. I love it. Exactly. And that's the way that they were able to save themselves by forming a co-op. All right, let's keep going.
Bylaws, set up our federal tax ID, state tax ID number, and all that legal stuff, bank accounts and all of that. And you must have a banking account. The treasurer was keeping the money at the house.
There was no keeping no paperwork in the envelope. The money.
So we got all that straight, and now we made a couple of mistakes. This co-op is on a charter for 7 counties in Mississippi. Should have been a statewide charter. So the only way you can be a member of this co-op, you got to be farming in those 7 contiguous counties. So if now farmers getting so few and far between, we're gonna have to go back and amend that
Okay.
and make it a statewide, and Louisiana and Alabama, anybody can be a member.
That's
But the current president now, we only had 3 presidents and 3 treasurers in 40 years. So the president now with Brown that just left, he the son of the first president.
Okay. Were you the president at any time doing
I've
that?
never been president. I've been manager and treasurer,
Okay.
but I've never been president. The president always been a Travis.
It's almost like a church. You got certain families in these communities that they're mainstays.
We had 3 presidents in 40 years, 3 Travis.
Hey, as long as they're good people, that's all that matters.
And our past president, like I said, the first one is deceased. The second one, he's 80 years old. He's still a member now. Joe gonna go pick up some stuff from him and his grandson later on today. He'll be in New Orleans tomorrow. So by having that good structure there and slow, not changing officers and all that all the time, it really paid off in the long run.
Some continuity, kind
Some
of.
continuity there, and it really paid off. Now, we were blessed to have land through here, too, as a community, you know. Thousands of acres that's black-owned land.
Let's talk about that because right now, land is a very powerful thing. Land always been a powerful thing.
Most certainly have.
And sometimes we talk about people getting the 40 acres and a mule, and a lot of places, a lot of black people never got the 40 acres and a mule.
Right.
But in this community, I have heard y'all got something about a homestead act.
We got, under the Homestead Act, family received 164 acres, which is exactly 1 mile by a quarter of a mile. That make up 164 acres. And it was, to my knowledge, it was over 10 families.
Have you seen that in any other places?
I never have, but I know it's got to be other places. It couldn't have only been here.
So, I mean, around what time was that?
From 1879 to around 1898.
So right during the heart of Reconstruction.
Only 10 years after the Civil War. 15 years after the Civil War.
So the
So somebody had to know what was going on. Now, we did a little research. This was Native American land. So when they treated a dancing rabbit, removed all the Native Americans from here to Oklahoma, they opened this up to settlement for white farmers, white people, but somehow or another these families fortunate enough to get in and they was blessed.
that is definitely a blessing. You don't really see that a whole lot. I mean, to get that kind of land, I think today a lot of the families still have some of that land.
Still all of this through here. You can go from this facility for at least 2 miles, still be on black-owned land. Either direction you go.
Why is land powerful, though, in your opinion?
Yeah, land power because it's a source of income, the main thing. And then you can feed yourself, you can clothe yourself, and you can. I always said, if I didn't have anything, I could still live. You know.
I want to pause there because I want to have you guys pay attention to how he said the land was acquired. It was originally Native American Indian land, and under some kind of treaty, a treaty was drafted. We're gonna do some research on that and find out more information on that. But a treaty was made to move the Native American Indians to Oklahoma so that other farmers can get the land that they was on. So just make a note of that. I ain't gonna go too deep in it, but
In these woods here, you got all type of berries you can gather. We got just about something every month. See, we got blackberries, and wild blueberries in April and May. We got mayhaw berries in May. Now you're getting the wild mustard season. We got centrail mushrooms. Yeah, it just go on and on.
So if you use the land, you can feed yourself.
You got all type of herbs. You got the
That's just in the
wild.
That's just wild.
That's
Then if
just
you got
wild.
to clear some clear land, you can grow
You
something.
can grow something. As long as you got some seeds. And you know,
Yep.
the Virgin Island wanted to hear that he believed in saving seeds. All the watermelons up there, he saved his seeds every year. His okra seeds. I usually buy mine, though, bro.
That's kind of a lost thing. A lot of people don't save seeds too much anymore.
I don't save seeds much. I know I don't at least. I just go buy some new ones. And I buy hybrids anyway that they ain't gonna produce in the next year no way. And then you know, if you notice through here, there's a lot of timber through here. Actually, almost all the small farms through here is a combination of livestock, timber, and crops. And see, I had livestock up into Katrina, and you see how my farm is all growed up. So I'm gonna need to get some goats, sheep, or cows or something. So if you got those three, as a small farmer, you can always survive. Cause my mother and father, they didn't cut no timber unless they were hard time. That was their retirement.
Yeah, they're retired. Okay.
So I hadn't heard, but Katrina forced me to have to work a little longer. Cause it destroyed a lot of it. But Mother Nature, it doesn't come back. So they always use timber as a, well, farmers do it this way.
Kinda
Some
emergency bank.
right, some farmers put their retirement in timber. Others put theirs in cows.
Okay, I was asking about that. I remember you telling me about some people put it in cattle.
They put it in cow. You know, what's that rate now? 1% at the bank, 1/4%. You can make way more than that by putting it in cow.
It's almost like Farmer Terry Price.
I hope y'all listening. Okay, so the way we are taught, I'm pause that and we're gonna keep going forward. But you see how he says there are other ways that you can have your retirement. In our mind, they have. I'm not gonna say they, but we are taught to think of retirement in the form of money only. Your retirement, your 401k, and your all the IRA, whatever that is. We only think of it in money. But this is one of the reasons why we are stressing as a garden community to each other to grow your own, buy you some land and all of that, because that's worth more than money. You just heard him say it. Not only will you be able to barter and use it to get more resources, but you'll be able to take care of yourself. If you don't have any money, but you got land, you'll be able to clothe yourself, you'll be able to eat, you'll be able to provide for your family. So don't just think of retirement in forms of money. You got land with trees on it, you got cattle and all of that. We got to think outside of the box. You got to unprogram your mind to where we have been thinking only towards dollars, green dollars, that is. You got money, or you have revenue, or you have other tangible assets besides the green money and the coins and stuff.
I seen him this morning.
You seen him this morning? He had a lot of cows.
He still got a lot of cow. Now his grandfather, 400 acres up through there, but they had to buy it. They bought it when the timber company cut all the timber. If he was working for the timber company, he would sell it to you at a reduced price.
Really?
So he got 200 head of cattle. He got out of the chicken business, and he rented 60 acres to a watermelon farmer.
Yeah,
So he's on there.
Yeah, Terry Price. I met him one time. he was probably one of the best chicken leg egg growers in the state. From what he told me, he was trying to be the #1 egg producer in the state of Louisiana. I mean, state of Mississippi. Also, when we did Gumbo Jubilee, Terry Price helped me get source the cow. And we went out and visited him.
But the land is the land is the key, land ownership. And if you notice in this community too, how you say that was the first see that generation, George Tisdale, that my great grandfather, he had land. Well, his children was some of the first one to go to college.
The audio is kind of low.
Because they were able to send them to Tougaloo. Most everybody in this community went to Tougaloo or Alcorn.
HBCUs.
Then no, not that. We ain't no Jackson States do him much. Most of them he went to Tougaloo or Alcorn, but they were able to start going to college. Some of them was in the 20s, so they could afford to send that second generation from slavery. And you don't find that too often either. And I did a little research on that. They had the wherewithal to get them to Jackson and to Alcorn, and that made a difference. You know, so like some
education.
like some said, they the first in their family they graduate from college in the 60s and 70s. When I know they were graduating from here in the 40s and 50s.
That's a long time ago. That's like
Right.
3 generations.
Right.
We reduced after that. Like 3 or 4 generations who had education.
You're right.
That changes that levels the playing field.
That made it a little better for the next generation, and and when I came along, that was a no-no. Wasn't no such thing not going to school. You were gonna go to Earl Division with what they built one school for the black people in the whole county, back up in the '69, and so I was the last class to graduate from that school. Then they integrated, and then all I'm saying, you had a choice when you graduated from high school. You could either go to the army, go to college, or get a job.
That sound like my parents. That sound like my parents. Sound like the same story. Played in soccer.
Right.
Played in Mississippi.
You got to go one of the three.
So, 69, you're the last integrated. You're the last segregated class.
Segregated class.
A lot of people don't realize Brown versus Board education happened in '54, but it took another.
They really told us here to '72. They started piecemeal, voluntary. Then all of a sudden they just said, that's it.
Probably had a lot of private schools pop up around here.
They had 2, but they ain't school in this county because of a Catholic school, but they were there even before integration. So the 2 that was here, they couldn't make it. But this county too is 2/3 white. The public school is a private school.
That makes a difference too.
That make a big difference too. And they put the bird school on the property owners. So taxes went up considerable as a landowner. But you know, a lot of people think of it's not a given right, it's a privilege. And with the privilege comes the responsibility of paying for those that don't have. Okay, now most of them don't that way. So you ought to be willing to pay to help the school, since the property taxes would pay the school. But most of, I know when they built the school here, all these big farmers and little farmers, they had a meeting and said they were gonna fight it.
They didn't want to pay the tax.
They didn't want to pay the tax. They raised about $100,000 at that one meeting. I didn't give them a dime, because I know they weren't gonna win in the first place, and I didn't believe in it. You know, but they didn't. you couldn't fight nothing like that.
So black farmers and black people have a long road in this.
Still got a long way to go. Cause we working on this American Rescue Plan now. To bail these 17,000 farmers of black.
So it's a long-standing history of that, though. I mean, you had the Pickford decision, but well before the Pickford, black farmers wasn't getting the same type of loans.
Always been in that. I started borrowing money from FSA in 1977, my first loan. I bought a tractor, some land, combine, everything. I had a loan, but I didn't have. I couldn't. If I want to go buy a ton of fertilizer, I had to sign it. Then I had to go to the FHA office and let the FHA loan officer sign it. They didn't do nobody like that but black farm. What they call that? Supervisor farm loan. I couldn't go.
White farmers, they had to get 2 signatures?
No, they didn't have to get no signatures. So 77, 78, 79 to 82.
That's your last loan?
My last loan was 85. But I had to, for 5 years, I couldn't buy nothing. Let's see if I remember on a good deal on seed fertilizer. I had to get the invoice, go back to the office. He signed, I signed, and take it back. By that time,
the whole purpose of credit is to help you create money, help you make money.
that's how we won Pickford, because we won Pickford on that. The only people who had supervised loan was African American black.
So let me remind y'all that just recently, in July, this past summer, that the USDA awarded blacks and other minority farmers $2 billion from the USDA after years of discrimination. And you hear him talking about it, how long it's been going on. And they just awarded them this year $2 million to more than 23,000 farmers who were approved for payments for loans ranging from $10,000 to $500,000. And these were, they said most of the payments went to farmers in Mississippi and Alabama, but it wasn't just blacks, but it was other minorities as well. So I posted this on my community page. I don't know if I made it public or not, but I did inform my members about it. But just wanted to let you know, this here, what he's talking about, it happened this year. All right, let's keep going. Thank you, Country Hustle, for your donation. I appreciate you.
So that's the basically we base Pickford up on, and that's the only way it went. But and then it showed that our loan never was. You never got what you really needed. So if I needed $60,000 put in my crop, I get 48, 50. But my crop is based up on 60,000.
So you're in a losing battle before you get started.
Before you get started. Then I would get my last loans. I raised soybean and corn, so I plant soybean and corn in April and May, and I get my money in July.
So tell me this: did you have another job while you were farming during that time?
No, I didn't have another job. I basically never been nothing but a farmer. I worked for the Federation off and on call. But what
sustaining you?
What saved us through here?
I posted the article in the chat.
Well, we had early crop. So we had snap bean, pickled cucumber, long red cayenne for the hot sauce Indians in Louisiana. We had contracts with it. So we would plant that in April and May and harvest in June. So that gave you some money
You had some cash
to
crop.
plant your other crop.
Okay.
And then in the fall, you could get some of the same contracts. So we always had those kind of contracts through here up until they signed NAFTA. When they signed NAFTA, 92 and 94, all them contracts vanished.
So did y'all do any other things like sending watermelons and stuff to Chicago?
We started in 1978, and we still sending watermelons up there to today. Watermelon, peas, okra, Sweet corn, everything. We got one load already on the books for Chicago.
Is it? You think it has something to do with the Great Migration, or a lot of people from down this way in Chicago, or just?
Absolutely right. So we got the hookup that on the west side in August. They always have a celebration. Everybody from Mississippi. We know they don't want a whole load of watermelon. Then on the south side they have this thing. They got these clubs. Like you from Greenville, Mississippi, you got the Greenville Club. You from Greenwood, you got the Greenwood Club. You from Clarksville, you got the Clarksville Club. And Alcorn State University, largest alumni chapter in Chicago. So they got a B&B, and that's where we park our trucks at.
Really?
Yeah, they got a fenced-in place, so we park our trucks at night and stay there. That's the largest chapter of Alcorn graduates.
So another thing. I mean, it's kind of like how we can help each other in the community.
Mm-hmm.
People starting here in St. Mississippi. People migrated to Chicago, and y'all still working together.
Still working together. Still that pipeline. They going and coming every day.
That's how it goes.
Most of the time when we go up there, I ain't been up there with a trucking on. We always gonna bring something back. Somebody building a house down here, and they want you to bring all that lumber they done salvaged. And somebody moving back down here, they want you to bring all the furniture back. And then when these floods and hurricanes and all that, them churches take up clothes and canned goods and all that. We'll bring that back. We done brought that back over the year.
So there's no wasted trips.
No wasted trip. So I have a tag called for raw farm product. So me and I was driving in. We bought the gentleman was bringing 2 Cadillac cars back. We almost got in trouble for that. So there's always something coming back, you know. And then them that went in this 56 and 37 when they moved back, several of them I know, some of them done bought the farm they were sharecropping on. Because one was a postmaster up there.
You might want to explain what sharecropping is in case somebody don't know what sharecropping is.
Sharecropping when you working on a farm and said, I got 50 acres. Well, the farm owner put up the seed, the fertilizer, everything. And you stand on the place too in a shotgun house. So you work all the year and you break even at this thing.
You break even if you're lucky.
Yeah, you never get a
profit.
Now Virgil Daddy had sharecroppers on his farm that were white. I'm sitting up there. So
It's almost like sometimes black people own slaves too.
that's right. So it went both ways.
It went both ways, even.
But I never hear tell sharecropping through here. I never have. It had to be though, but I ain't never hear tell nobody right here sharecropping. I didn't know what the term was. I went to Alcorn University. I never heard sharecropping.
What was the crops? I mean, you say y'all had woods. Anybody growing cotton around here?
Oh, that was a cash crop. I was a cotton farmer until the early 80s. That was the crop that made the cash. Yeah, that was the crop that made the cash.
But
That what I tell everybody, that what sent me and my nephews and my cousin, that what sent us to college.
Let me pause it because I let it go too far without before I want to talk about the part that I want to get to. So he talking about the sharecropping. So I just want to drop this little tidbit. If we're not careful, we're gonna be moving back to that type of setup if we're not careful. I remember a couple months ago, maybe even a year ago, we were talking in this community about the government wanted us to register our gardens, and they only wanted us to buy seeds from certain places. They want to be able to tell us what we can grow or what we can't grow and things like that. We have to pay attention to these little bitty changes because these small changes that they try to make could put us back in the situation to where you're a sharecropper, which means yeah, you growing it, but you didn't pay for the seeds. You didn't. The land is not yours. They're allowing you to live on it, to work the land, and you get to eat of the land, but it's not yours, and you're really not making no money from it. So if we're not careful and paying attention to these laws and rules and regulations that are being made in our city, in our state, in the country, we're gonna be going back to that if we're not careful, especially with these what they call it. Do you stay in the neighborhood and your homeowners association HOA basically want to tell you what you can and what you can't, but you paying for it, but they want to tell you what you can and what you can't have in your neighborhood. We have to be on your own land. You have to be very careful. We have to be very careful with these small changes that they make it and think about how they will affect us as a whole.
Cotton,
King Cotton.
King Cotton. 'Cause my freshman year and my sophomore year, I had a crop here. I never did get to the last day of registration.
Can I just ask a quick question, Howard, if
Go
that's
ahead.
okay? What are some of the stories that you remember? I want you to tell us as well in the camera, the year you were born,
Okay.
just what you remember of growing up. Because let me just, put this into perspective. This grant that we received was called the Legacies of American Slavery.
Mhm.
And so we are trying to have a thread that kind of shows how black farming, you read the 1619 Project, correct?
Mhm.
So we're trying to show the thread of how slavery was the kind of the undertone of a lot of things that we might not have paid attention to.
Okay.
So this is also education for them as well. And this conversation is going to lead up to the regional conference next year. So if you could, as many details as you can remember about
Hey, Nikki,
growing up,
welcome
maybe
in
what the
the
old
everyday
folks
life
used
of
to tell
OTG.
you about farming.
Thank you for
Did
being
they
here.
talk about any their grandfather who was enslaved, and even that Great Migration? You talked about that about Chicago. What do you remember growing up about people leaving and going and leaving Mississippi and why they left? That's what the core of this interview. So, okay.
See, I was born in 1951. I remember segregation very well. If you see on there white water fountain, colored water fountain, all that sitting in the back of the bus. My grandfather was born in 1880, and he died. When he died, I was 15. But I never did. They never did talk much about slavery. They would talk about, like my grandfather said, he remember one but two stores in Hattiesburg, Polk Hardware and Citizen Bank. And they would have to go all the way to Mobile to get sugar and coffee and all of that. So, and I do remember a lady, she was a Travis. She was born in 1860. And she was a midwife. So she birthed everybody through him, white and black at home. And she lived from 1860 to 1960. So I actually met her. And several more through here was born in 1861 or 62. But I ain't never known them to say they were slaves or not. So it was only one or two, like what you would call a plantation here. Most everybody, black, white, and even some Native Americans, were just small subsistence farmers. Well, I can recollect. And I had a book written one time. It was showing about how it was more about food
Yep, Nikki.
and how one influenced the other one, and to why we eat okra and why we eat cowpeas. All that comes from Africa. Since my many trips to Africa,
Yeah, well,
I can see the why we eat what we eat.
can you talk about some of that too? About you done took many trips. Not many people in this community. Not many African
They
Americans.
don't want to go. I had the opportunity to take place of it. They don't even want to go to Jackson. No, New York and Los Angeles. No. It's talking about going to Africa.
The connection to food from Africa. Like why we eat certain things.
Why
What you
we
saw
eat
in
certain-
Africa and what you saw we see here in Mississippi and New Orleans. What you
It's the same thing. They just put a different twist on it. The eggplant, the okra, the cowpeas, we call it collard greens over it, but over there they got another name for it, but it's the same thing. So as I was growing up, you know, then again when I hadn't been nowhere till I went to college. I hadn't been there for the Lake Pontchartrain one time. It was segregated. We could only go on
Oh,
Thursdays.
well. I remember
sound
my
like a
dad.
while I'm talking about
You know, the
Atlantic
park out there, Lake Pontchartrain theme park. I hadn't been nowhere else, so when I
Hey, Pescatarian Garden, welcome
some
in.
of the
Thank you.
students were talking about they was hungry. They been hungry. They had holes in their shoes. You know, some of them said they could lay in the bed and night and feed the chickens and then drop the corn and all that through the floor and then feed the puppies. I never lived like that. So I didn't know. I thought everybody was like people around here. I ain't never been hungry. I ain't never been shoeless. I ain't never had to wear white clothes. I didn't
I
didn't know.
I think part of it, you coming from a landowning family, being a landowner versus being a sharecropper or a tenant farmer.
It makes a difference.
Yeah, me and my nephew, he older than I, we talk about that all the time. He went to Alcorn. 6 years wasn't nothing but a sophomore. And my mom and dad cut the money off. They joined the Navy. We talk about that all the time. All of them through here, you know. But
I mean, it's
I
kind of
thought everybody was living as black like I was, but it wasn't true. Cause most of them students from the Delta, they was sharecroppers. They was staying on the plantation.
that's a different mentality.
I told them, and it took me 30 years to. I didn't want to own up to it. Those of African Americans here, we are hill farmers, and the one in the Delta, they much bigger farming now, because some of them got 5,000, 6,000, 4,000 acres. We totally think different when it comes to working together. I didn't want to believe it. I still don't want to believe it, but it's true. You know, we get together down here and do things. We try to start co-ops in the Delta. They go a year or two, it dissolves.
And you're saying that they dissolve because now, like in the Delta, you only have like one or two families.
We got one or two families up there doing real good, but they don't tend to work together. So
It's all about working
They're
together.
so big that they just
So I just was totally different. So now you come to civil rights and all of that, marching and singing. I mean, I was 14, 15 years old. I went to Hattiesburg. I'm marching and singing.
Yeah, Nikki, I say
I slipped off from
they
school
work together for nothing.
to go listen to my best friend. Let's go up here in 65 and protest. One telephone in this community. But when I got off that bus, my mama knew I had been up there. Standing there with a switch.
Right.
So that was, I went up one other time and never did go no. But now we know for a fact that black farmers had land. So when they got put in jail, the protesters, they wouldn't take a cash bond. They want a property bond.
Mm.
So many black farmers put their land up. The bail, hundreds of protesters out.
And let me tell you, stop and tell y'all about that. That's the thing with them putting up this land. Okay, I'm not gonna go on the whole spiel about the jail system and how it's set up and all that, and how it's set up to also take land from people. When these boys that are in these low income areas and they go to jail, most of the time they don't want. When I was coming up, they wasn't taking cash bonds, and they're still doing it now. They wouldn't take cash bonds for to get them out because they knew that their families had property. So the only thing that they allowed them to do is put your house up. That's what we used to say. Mama gonna put her house up for so he can get out. Uh, Auntie so and so gonna put her house up, and that's the quickest way for them. That's I ain't gonna say the quickest way. That was the scheme to get us. I'm gonna say people get your land from you. Get them boys out there that's in the low income areas doing stuff. Lock them up. Only way they get out is if Big Mama put her house up. She put her house up. If he don't come to the first, or he missed one court date or whatever, her house is gone. That's the scheme. And it's still working today. It's still working today. But the only difference is now some of us, not all of us, some of us have acquired more money to where it doesn't affect us as much. So some of us are able to get cash bonds and pay them. But for the ones that they know can't afford it and they want that land in them low income areas, them neighborhoods that's close to airports, or neighborhoods that in them gentrified areas where they trying to build it up, send them people out there, lock them boys up, tell they people the only way you can get them is you put your house up. It's just a cycle. It's just a cycle. And I'm not telling you what I heard. I'm telling you what I know.
That's a good lesson there.
They say you could have the money in your pocket,
Now
but you couldn't find out.
vegetarian. Yep.
They tell you how much powerful the land is. We could have, I mean, people talk about all these different currencies, crypto, Bitcoin, or whatever, cash or whatever, but the power is in land.
And there's a documentary out there called Good Deeds, like Land Deeds, DEE, Land Deeds. It's a 65-minute documentary, and I helped work on it. It just chronicles the farmers in Holmes County, how they put their land up. They get the Freedom Riders and all of them out of jail, and that went on all over the state of Mississippi.
Welcome in.
And not a one lost their land. All of them showed up at court.
to get their land back.
Right. Not
I
a
can't
one
say
so
go
for been
ahead,
documented where they
because
lost
That
their
was
land.
my next question. I wonder did they lose any of their land in the process? But when you own something, you have a different respect for it. It means everything to you. Versus you renting something, even if you're renting an apartment or you're renting a house, it don't mean as much to you unless you own that house. It might mean something, but it's not the same level of care.
And in this county, you have cross burners, and they burned down some churches. But I never seen a cross burn, and that church up there never burned through the 60s. I never seen them. They didn't come through here burning no crosses. Not a cross never been burned out here.
But would you think because y'all had about 60% white and about 40% black, why they didn't burn?
But I'm just saying this right here is solid black.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know what they were afraid they're gonna shoot back, or they just didn't get around to it. But that whole through the 60s and so you had the Black 4-H Club. The future farmer of America was white. We was NF farmers of America. New farmers of America.
And then
So in 1968, me and 3 others from the black, we were chose to integrate that Well, it went integration. They just dropped the new farmers and made us all
FFA.
FFA. So the same thing with the 4-H Club. Well, they said we got to bring all y'all together. So this 4-H Club out here was one of the chosen to start meeting with the
No white.
the white 4-H Club. And they had some kind of council, and eventually this merged us all into one. So in 1968, we went to Mississippi State for crop judging. You know, you win in the local, then you win on the county. In the district, if you win the district, you get a chance to go to Mississippi State. So we was in the first crew to go to Mississippi State. So we on the bus. Bus load, ain't but 4 blacks on there, stop in Meridian at a
Tampa, they
at a
talking
truck
about your
stop, but they
state.
told us we couldn't go in.
I knew that was coming.
They gonna bring us a plate. I wouldn't eat it.
But
I wouldn't eat it. I said,
it's the
nah.
role of black people.
I started there. So when then we get to Mississippi State, well, my team, we should have won, but they just couldn't give it to us. So when it comes to showing livestock, the next year, 3 of us was chosen to be the first black to show in the livestock show. They just couldn't give us a blue ribbon. And we had the best looking animals there, but they
just
wasn't gonna do that, not that quick.
They just couldn't.
They couldn't. So you know,
How did that affect you though? Knowing you couldn't, you had the best product out there. Probably maybe 2 or 3 times better.
I am said it didn't disturb me because all of them, some of them, especially after the show, come up and and we know you had the best animal, but but I never been one that really dwell on that race thing. It's there, you got to deal with it, so go on. The only best way to deal with it is like Oklahoma City. Create your own base, your own way. Because if you look at, if black farmers could only capture 10% of the black consumer, that would keep us in business with a high profit. Just 10%.
Can't get the 10% though.
We can't get 10% because we're going to Walmart and the Costco's and
Can't even do that.
Kroger's and
We don't
Whole
know.
Foods and what's that in New Orleans? Rouse's.
Rouse's and
Yeah, I had a meeting with the Rouse man. He said he wanted a bathroom. They had put on this big thing in me and him talking a long time and everything.
Y'all know what though?
But when it
Let me
come
pause.
that time,
Let me pause. Let me say this. Not. He's talking about we can't give him 10%. We what we doing is I would much rather go straight to the source and buy my fruit, vegetables, food. This is what this man is saying. The farmers out here, the food that the grocery stores are getting, they getting it from these farmers, taking it from the farmers and then selling it to us, jacking the prices up and selling it to us. Instead, we can go straight to the farmer and buy from the farmer and won't have to pay that jacked up price. You ain't even got to buy from the farm. You can grow it yourself and have Walmart come to you and ask you, I want to buy from you. And then you choose if you want to have Walmart have your stuff in their stores or not and sell it to people. That's the purpose of growing your own, become self-sustainable. But we instead of us going to the farmer because some of us don't have the sense to say that somebody grew this. This didn't come, Rouse's didn't make this, Walmart didn't make this. What is the other stores? Target didn't make this. They buying it from some farmer. Why not find out the farm that they're getting it from and go directly to the farm and give them that money? Why we can't do that? Why we can't do that? Because we can't work together. That's why. Hey, Felicia, welcome in, welcome in. Instead of giving your money to that big corporation, go give your money to that small farmer and help them make some money.
in the buy, I got plenty of it. He's always plenty of it. We all come in at the same time. And he gonna want us to grow pole beans, which is a very good crop. But you got to have a whole lot of labor for an acre of pole bean. So my point is, yes, everything is here, but the field still ain't level. It ain't level till we can go in the marketplace year after year after year. They gonna buy one year and don't buy the next.
That's not doing any good.
That ain't doing no good.
Cause you got the land out here.
He's telling you they
You gotta
doing
build.
this treatment.
You got bills and you gonna tell I can't plant a crop. You might buy it and you might not. You might buy it and you might not. You can't hardly plant a crop now. It was sometimes you could do that when a lot of brokers was coming to him that would buy it no matter what. But they don't do that no more. So if you're gonna plant a crop now, you really, really need to know what's going. Last year they told me to plant all that sweet corn. Donald Link, Koshan, the Butcher's Block, Herb Sang,
Don't tell me that.
Jenny's, all them restaurants.
Don't tell me you'd eat all that corn.
I had 100,000 years ready at one time.
Yep.
But what bailed us out again, go back what you say all the time, we had all our paperwork in order. So we were able to get one of those food box contracts. But see, as a group, as a farmer, you had to be ready before it came out. See, everything had to be, you couldn't been getting ready, because they only give you 6 weeks to bid, and then you got to have all these certificates, and then some of them used to be in that window, but in the office, there are all these, one from USDA, one from the state of Mississippi, one from the health department, one from Forest County. You got to have all of that before you can even bid.
Exactly. So you got to be, when things happen, you got to be ready to turn the switch the next day. You can't say I'm gonna build this processing facility to get the money that
You
came up
can't-
in
you
the middle of
can't do
COVID, for example, with those
So-
boxes.
The Federation bid, and we got a $1.9 million contract for 12 weeks.
Yeah, y'all the only one in the Federation who got a food processing facility like this one?
I don't know one in Georgia. I don't know the one in Georgia went bankrupt.
So okay, I'm gonna pause it because I want to address, yes, when Nikki was saying, yeah, they would find a way to try to make it illegal for us to do it if the big companies lose money. And then yes, pescatarian was like, yes, they sure would, because remember in some places it's illegal to collect God given water. But let me tell y'all this. This is where we have to be ahead of the game. We already know that's what the scheme is gonna be. That's what they're trying to get to. So I'm gonna try to find this video where I found, I believe it's in the state of Maine or Massachusetts. I'm gonna find the video where they passed a law. It's the only state that have the law right now where you have the right to choose your food. They have that law in place to where if the government ever comes up with a law that says you can't buy from a farmer, you can't grow this you can't have a garden, you can't have a garden in your backyard, you can't do this, you got to go to the store. They have made a law in place where you have a right to choose your own food. And that's what other places have to get in place. So, because we know that's how they're going to come. If, especially, they know that we're on a path to going that way because the food is being tainted. Somebody is throwing a monkey wrench in their plans because the food is coming up tainted everywhere. So if the people are looking like, I'm going to the store and I can't even get the government can't even provide me with the food that I need to live, the food that you're giving me is making me sick, then eventually the people are going to turn away from these big box stores, right? It's inevitable. It's going to happen. So that's why we got to put those rules in place to where we have the law that says you have the right to choose your own food. And it's sad that we have to put that in place, but it has to be done. And one state has done it. I'm going to share that video with y'all. I'm going to find it, but we're going to keep going on this. But you got to put it in place because that's how they coming. I mean, that's the path we headed on.
They had one in the Sea Island. It went on there too a long time ago. It's two in the state of Mississippi like this.
Okay.
Written on the
You got
wall.
this one, you got one in
Thank
North
you for
Delta.
being here.
One in North Delta took our brew plants. We saved them a lot of money. And it had made it almost twice as big. So they sell it to Kroger. But my whole point as farmers and as cooperators, you got to be ready. So by us having that contract, if y'all have been here this time
We wouldn't be able to do
last
that.
year, you wouldn't have been meeting in here because about 50 people in here. When we bring it in this way, 218-wheeler boxes, and these boxes here, and then we put them on the trucks, and we did 800 to 1,000 to Biloxi and Gulfport, and then again, I guess it go back to the community too. See, my nephews and them over there in the trucking business. So they got 18-wheeler refrigerated units, and we didn't have to go outside. We didn't have to worry about no trucking. Only thing I worried about was the labor. But everybody in the community, and Joe can testify to this helped. We told them when we get the money, we'll pay you. And nobody, like I said, we had out of 1.9 million, we probably did 1.1 here. So we paid all these young people
With the
good
y'all,
money.
the faith y'all had years ago to put this together and go through the paperwork paid off.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they didn't pay off initially,
Mm-hmm.
but they kept paying once they started.
So I tell them brothers, I said, look, I've been around nothing to know. When the next bid come around, we ain't not gonna get one. But Joe didn't believe me. So in one but 3 minorities got to be the first go round.
I remember that.
Not a one got the second go round.
I think that you was in an article for Civil Eats with that.
Right. So he's trying to figure out why we didn't get another go
It
round.
seemed like y'all should have been a shoe for the second one.
We
If y'all
delivered.
delivered the first one,
It changed the whole structure of it. You had to be like Cisco's or U.S. Food Service or some of them big outfits. They got all and been getting it ever since. We bid it this last go round and we didn't get it, but we're gonna bid another go time. But they changed the whole structure where small community-based organization couldn't get it.
I got this is a question I want to kind of follow. I mean, I'm seeing you, Mr. Burkett. I'm looking at your age. Where's the next generation?
And that's our biggest problem in this cooperative. Our youngest member is 49. But them that really doing with the bulk of the production is in their 70s and 80s. There's no future there. So, as I told you, I said, unless there's something changed, by 2030, it's gone. This co-op won't be here no more. So some of us, I first thought that was wrong. I want to see it go on for another 60 years. But then on the other hand, it had a good run.
Is it 'cause-
60 years, hey, it's about them.
do you think it's because people done left the rural areas and don't come back, or what?
Like my 3 great nephews over there, all of them in Texas. They graduated from Mississippi State in them engineering degrees. Now I'm saying one of them gonna come back, but all of them know how to farm now, and all of them know how to do everything. They learned that from me and my brother. Them cats they can fix anything. They can carpet. They can weld. They can trim. You name it, they can do it. I'm hoping and I'm praying they'll do that great migration that went to Chicago.
Can we go back? I'm glad you
They'll
said
come
that.
back with money and buy more land. But I don't know.
Can we
No,
go
no.
back to the great?
And them coming up right there.
My watermelon couch trip. Turns out I'm not. I just got a chance to interview Senator Craig Hickman on his farm. It was a cool little pop-up. You just never know when you're gonna meet people. It's amazing.
All right.
Craig, pleasure to meet you.
You too. Tell me your name one more time.
James.
James. And so when we moved to Maine to run a B&B, and then I didn't like some of the regulations that were coming from the state on my little farm, so I decided to run for office to correct that.
I must have had it on mute.
And so I did, and I lost my first election,
So this
and then I won my second
the
one,
video.
You ran for what?
State House.
Can y'all hear the video?
State representative.
Hey.
Okay.
So I was in the Maine House of
Rafi,
Representatives.
welcome.
I was the second,
What's going on,
only the
baby?
second black person ever
This is
elected
the
to the Maine House of
Senator Craig
Representatives at the
Hickman
time.
that
And
made the rule
I ran on the platform of food sovereignty,
in Maine.
feeding us the food we want to eat, making sure we have resilient local communities grounded in food for rural economic development, job creation, health, stewarding the land. So my platform was something I was living. The people elected me, and then I went in and I was able to develop relationships across the aisle. And I wrote and got passed, after some struggles, the first in the nation Maine Food Sovereignty Act, which allows local communities to write ordinances that will create, again,
Y'all hear that?
food sovereign communities. And then last 2021, I took that one step further and I co-authored the nation's first right to food constitutional amendment. So we have we put a right to food in our Constitution.
What does that mean?
It means that people have a right to food. They have a right to save and exchange seeds. They have a right to grow, raise, harvest, consume, produce the food of their own choosing. It means we have standing if any corporations or any other adverse interests to what we want to feed ourselves tries to get in the way. We have standing to go to court and say, leave us alone, because we have this right.
We can grow our own.
We can grow our own.
Boom.
We can get our food from where we choose. And it's for our own nourishment, sustenance, bodily health, and well-being.
Yeah.
And so it was a no-brainer for the voters. But getting it to the ballot takes 2/3 of a vote in the legislature. That was tough. It took 4 terms to do that. I've been in office 6 terms now. So that was the crux, and the big food industry opposed the bill, and the commercial farmers opposed the bill.
Of course they will.
The animal welfare people opposed the bill. There was a lot of corporate interests that joined together, because if you control your own food, you control your own destiny.
Oh.
And raising your own food is like printing money. And so we find that in the way in which we subsidize sort of a corporate agricultural system creates less choice for people, and they just want us all to go to the grocery store,
Right.
and buy processed junk.
Yeah.
And I'm not with that. Like I said, my dad was an urban farmer who grew a lot of food in our backyard and could trick anything to grow and put it all up. And so I grew up knowing that you can feed yourself. You have a lot of power. You're free. We, in the great state of Maine, have done something that now other states want to do.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Across the country,
how
yeah.
do we do that? Or like,
We have a National Right to Food Community of Practice that meets once a month. We just had a summit in Syracuse, New York, where you got a movement of folks who are trying to implement right to food in all the ways that it can be exercised. Local level, state level, working in partnership with nonprofits and other advocates for, racial justice, social justice, environmental justice, economic justice. And it's a group of folks from all backgrounds and walks of life. And so it was inspiring for me to go and see folks that are doing this work and have looked up to us out here in Maine. And they were able to finally put a face and a voice to what we did And they treated me like like some type of king because they were like,
Yeah,
he's
that's
the one
ill.
that did that out there.
That's
And my
ill.
co-author, our co-author Heather, was also there, and so it was the first time the two of us were together outside of Maine, with a group of people that are trying to implement right to food in different ways in other states across the country. So
That's sick, man.
you hit the jackpot.
Okay, y'all. So that's boom. That's the blueprint right there. I'ma say we perish, people perish for the lack of knowledge, right? We be scared to do stuff because we don't know certain things. We don't have the knowledge to how it could work. Maine has given us the blueprint of how to do all this stuff. It's the knowledge and the ways are out there for us to get it and to do it. We just gotta come together, like this video been saying. We gotta work together, come together. If we come together and share our knowledge and put our brain together, we could do this. But the knowledge is all spread out over, you know this, I don't know this, I don't know this, or stuff falls through the crack, and that's how we are unable to come together and get things done. So I was saying earlier about, why not buy from the little farmers and stop buying from these big corporations? Well, before we all band together and decide that we're going to do that, we got to follow what Maine did with Senator Craig Hickman and put this law in place so they can't retaliate against us. And so it's people working on that. Find out where you are. We are here on YouTube, all in different states. Find out in your local government who is pushing this law or who is trying to get this in place where you are living so that it could be done. Support whoever's trying to get that put in place. It can be done because it's been done in Maine. We just need to get it done throughout the rest of the states. And it's sad that you have to put a law in place to say that you can choose to grow food to make that's healthy. You can choose to send people seeds. It's sad that you got to basically put a law in place to say that I can drink clean water if I find it or if I make it. That's just sad. That's sad. David says, let me see, let me go back to it. Read some of y'all comments. Let me see. Most don't or aren't even if they had the knowledge, right? The most don't care, or even if they had. Some of us don't, but it's enough of us to band together and do like Devorah said. We got unity. We got enough. Networking is the key. Exactly, Breeze. That is the key. That is the key. So, guys, what I'm going to do, I'm going to continue this because it's a lot. We have about 20 more minutes left the on this video. Go back and share this. We got about we got about 30 minutes left on this video. So what I'm going to do is, for those of you who are in here now, I am currently on the EVMux streaming version plan, so I can only stream like 2 hours at a time. So what I am going to do is I'm going to end this stream and then I'm going to restart it so that we can continue to watch this video. And we'll be done with that. So let's see. David said it may be because water is made natural. What I mean is they recycle it so it is real or man-made. Just a question. Yes. Yeah, they once they want to recycle, I guess they call it, they made it since they recycled it. So then they want to charge you because they recycled it. I get you. That's they wait. That's they workaround. That's they workaround. That's okay. I will get you. It's all right, Temple. So y'all, we're gonna continue this. So I won't have to stop again. I'm gonna stop this live and then I'm gonna restart it. So y'all just look for me to restart it. I'm gonna do it like I'm not gonna take no time. I'm just gonna stop and restart the live and we're gonna finish this video, okay? So y'all come on back. I'm not ending it yet. I just have to restart my live so that it won't cut off in the middle of me streaming. So we're gonna finish this. I got a whole lot more good information to give y'all. We're gonna finish this tonight or today. So come on back. I'm gonna end it and restart it, okay? So even if you don't get the notification, just go to my page and I'll be back before my live. I got to defend Janet. Oh, okay, okay. So go back to my page and it'll show me live again. I'm gonna end it and restart it. Okay, I'll see y'all in a few seconds.